We're born in the moonlight. Ain't no fantasy. Can't breathe in the sunlight.
Hello Aromas, this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Changeling. We are here waiting for Spencer to wake up after being sucked the hell out from Adrian. And still discussing about the whole Adrian issue. He saw the club room. Clearly he has magicalness, or he could just have some kind of weak sight ability. I mean, he can't even see the brownie that lives here, right? That's true, but I don't think he can see it unless he wants to. But you said you can't see them either because Fae don't like to be seen. If you're Fae, why would he be anything else but Fae? If that's your reasoning, it doesn't make sense for him to just be a normal sensitive either. If the two of you have Fae ancestry, you could have turned out Fae and he could have turned out as a human with some mild sensitivity to magic. But still human. That's way too confusing. It always is when you have someone teetering on the edge of two communities. Anyway, Marc said Vitae, or whatever, only siphon, I don't know, siphon off small amounts of life force. When they're not trying, I guess when Adrian grabbed Spencer's arm, instinct sort of kicked in. Why all of a sudden? I've seen him without his gloves before. The first day he really talked to me, he was running around without them. Really? That's odd. Yeah, come to think of it, he touched my hand while we were in the club room. He definitely did not go all instinct on me. He just yanked his hand back like he was burned or something. Huh, that's weird. Then he told Marc I wasn't to his taste. Maybe he doesn't like the taste of fairy. Then what's his taste? Spencer? It's not like he ever gets to eat properly anyway. I imagine that when he touched Spencer and drained out that first bit of life energy, he lost control. He doesn't get to eat properly? We haven't quite figured out how to bottle life energy yet, and since feeding without someone's permission is legal, you can imagine that Vitae like him don't exactly get to sit down to a proper meal. How does he live then if he can't eat? They can metabolize normal food, you know. It just sort of leaves them in a weakened state. Is that why he doesn't seem as strong as Marc? He also doesn't seem to have the same bloodhound level sense of smell. Basically, yeah. He looked really scared about the whole thing, just shocked and scared. Marc too. Originally, part of the Stone Circle's purpose was to help cryptics like Adrian learn to control themselves and blend in better, so mistakes didn't really have the repercussions they have now. I mean, having some kind of safe haven for them to learn is kind of important, especially for natural vampires since they struggle with control anyway. Do they now? Because Marc has made it quite clear that he doesn't struggle with control at all. Pfft. Well, if he said that, he's lying through his pointy teeth. It's pretty well known that vampires, especially natural ones, actually do have issues with that. Well, he has gone on and on about how there's no way he'd ever want to eat alive food. You two have some seriously weird conversations. I know. Believe me, I know. Listen, naturally, vampires really struggle with learning to control themselves, especially Vitae, since they actually have to focus to turn their powers off. It's not like Marc, who can just opt to keep his teeth to himself. Adrian has to actively choose to stop the draining of life energy when he touches someone, or he has to avoid touching other people. You can imagine that kind of control doesn't come naturally, so he has to wear the gloves. Well, that rule is only a couple of years old, since Vitae don't normally drain enough energy to even be noticeable. Being at school was considered a good opportunity to help them learn. But the school has already had some issues with the vampire students, so they're not really very lenient with this sort of thing anymore. A couple of years, huh? Alex! Ask about Alex! Alex, something with Alex, right? How did you... Adrian mentioned him, actually. I haven't heard much. I just know he was involved in something, and it affected everyone. Oh man, something is right. And it wasn't just Alex. Adrian neglected to mention his brother was involved in that too, and several other vampire students. Oh really? He did neglect to mention that. Well, that was a huge drama, and the repercussions were pretty far-reaching. Like I said, Stone Circle used to be a haven where we could learn to control our abilities and blend in. Now there's so many rules geared toward just keeping the non-cryptic students safe and protecting the secret. It feels less like a school for us and more like a school for them. She made a face at that. It's not us versus them. I think that probably depends on who you ask. I sighed and leaned my head on my hand. What happened with Alex anyway? Well, all things considered, I guess you should probably know. Thank you, someone tells me something. Just don't tell Marc I told you this, okay? Don't worry, I'll act dumb when he tells me. Or shocked, sorry. I mean, I'm already dumb in this game. To him, apparently. Okay, Alex is his cousin. I knew that much. Adrian mentioned that. Well, he lived with Marc pretty much since they were kids. His parents were killed in an accident. The Louis family has a lot of enemies in the vampire community because of their involvement with that whole rebellion and founding the NPRA. I'm surprised you know about that, but yes. So for the Marc told me that part. So for their protection, Marc and Alex spent their whole lives basically homeschooled and secluded in their estate. I don't know all the details, but they were apparently targeted a lot. That's awful. Oh, that's why Marc has a hard time socializing with people, because he was homeschooled a whole lot. Yeah, well, they joined Stone Circle 2 years ago. I guess his parents thought they should learn to interact with humans and just be normal. It was kind of hard for them both. You think Marc is cranky now? You should have seen him 2 years ago. Alex was pretty much the same. But they're vampires. They can charm people pretty easily whether they intend to or not to. Or not. It's an inherent ability. Probably easier to eat someone that's dazzled by your gorgeous face and blue eyes. Yeah, I'd say so. Anyway, Marc tried to keep to himself, but Alex was really popular. He seemed to be adjusting so much better than Marc, but he wasn't adjusting at all, really. He and some other vampires formed a little group that would target other students, feed on them, repeatedly. Alex started the whole thing, apparently. Wait, what? They were really careful and secretive about it at first. No one suspected anything, but it really quickly spiraled out of control. Vampires have this thing called, Raven? I don't know. Like for... Ravenous? Ravenous? I don't know. I've heard about that. It's a prey that they mark for themselves. Yeah, well, they created quite a few of them. Marc said it's illegal to do that. It is. Ravens are like... I'm guessing ravens. Or ravens. Ravens are like slaves. That's why regulating vampire biting incidents is so tricky. Sometimes it only takes once or twice for you to properly be under a vampire's spell. So if you say yes once, you may not get a chance to say no ever again. Right. Anyway, Ethan, Adrian's brother, he got really carried away. The thing is, Vitae are really strong when they were well fed. Way stronger than sanguines? Blood drinkers. What are these words? The others said they tried to stop him, but one of the ravens ended up in the hospital in a coma. Jeez. That was what started the investigation. When the whole thing came to light, it was just so many students that were involved. It was almost like a cult. The vampires insisted that the human ravens had volunteered, that they were willing and had fully consented. The agency didn't care, and there was no way for them to prove any of that. All the vampire students involved were arrested. Marc's family was able to get Alex's sentence reduced on the grounds that he was being manipulated by the others and didn't fully understand what he was doing. The others weren't so lucky. After that, a lot of new rules were put in place, like the gloves. Vitae went from being able to get at least some nutrition from their ability to naturally siphon small amounts of energy to nothing. To have such strict... What? Nothing? How are they gonna eat? To have such strict rules put in place almost goes against the core values of the school administration, but they had to comply with the agency's orders. And the agency was really intent on protecting the humans. They felt it was a clear case demonstrating that we are a danger to them, and not the other way around. Enforcement across town became more stringent too. I don't know if the G is a J sounding. Not just at the Stone Circle. It really shook up the relationship between the agency and the vampire community. Anyway, most of the student body thought it was something drug related. The paranormal students were completely divided on the matter. The vampire students who weren't involved, a lot of them felt the new rules were too harsh and that the others were just following the natural order of things. Vampires feed on humans, they created these devoted servants. That's what they do, and Marc got a lot of hate for his family getting Alex off the hook. Well, that's understandable, that part. But Marc had nothing to do with it. But no one cares about that, apparently. Let me guess, Marc sided with the vampires. Why are vampires so discriminated against? It's not fair to blame him for that. Right? Right? I don't know. That's not fair. I keep saying this, but why does he have to get punished for actions of his parents? Because that's how people work. They throw blame and hate on whoever's convenient. And in this case, that means Marc. So the whole reason Adrian and his little group are nasty to Marc is because Alex got away with it and Adrian's brother didn't. Yeah. I mean, I can understand the bitterness. I really can. But it's not Marc's fault. And technically it was Ethan's fault because he got too crazy in the head. He really wasn't lying when he told me that the situation was complicated. Adrian hadn't made it sound so personal when he explained it, but I guess I could somewhat understand where he was coming from. Not that it really justified the petty bullying, but now it made sense why they got so antsy when they saw me with Marc. At least at the start, when they thought I was human. I guess they didn't want the same events to repeat, which really was fair enough. So how many vampire students are there at school anyway? It sounds like there are way more than I realized. They still outnumber the rest of the cryptics, but they're way less than there used to be actually. There's always been a really large vampire community in Pine Hollow, but a lot of them pulled their kids out of school after that incident. It was a mess. The school came pretty close to being shut down permanently. Now there's just Marc, Adrian's group, Elliot, and some underclassmen. A little more than a dozen total. Wow. I can see why he was so scared. Marc too. I really do believe Adrian didn't mean for it to happen this time. I'm waiting for Spencer to wake the fuck up and walk down the steps. Come on, brother. Come on. But if you're uncomfortable with it now that you know the truth, we can tell by the list right away. No. I don't think it'll be good for Spencer to get caught up in that. I want to give Adrian the benefit of the doubt for now. Okay, then I agree. Now we just wait for him to wake up. I'm awake. Fucking do it. Good job. He woke up. I nearly jumped out of my skin at the sleepy sounding voice behind me. Spencer was standing at the bottom step, rubbing the back of his head. He was disheveled, and still looked half asleep. But hey, he wasn't freaking out or hitting anyone, so that was a plus. Sleepyhead finally wakes up. What are you doing here? Hey, those are literally the first words you're going to say to me? You've been back for nearly 2 weeks and you haven't even said hi. Good grief. Get this guy some coffee. I don't drink coffee. He came into the kitchen shooting me at Claire. You were talking about vampires. Glad to see you're still doing the spying on me. A thing. Spying? Wait, what? Glad to see you're still doing the spying on me thing. Ellie stepped between us, holding her hands up. Okay, no fighting. We said we were going to explain things to him, not fight with him. You're in on all this too. In on this? Jeez. I think you had the wrong idea about what's going on. Maybe you should have a seat and let us explain. What happened yesterday? My head feels horrible. I'm sure it does. Long story, and I'd rather start at the beginning. I'm listening. You're just going to stand there by the fridge, glaring at us the whole time. Feels safer than sitting next to you. Man, I totally see why you always want to strangle him. Has he always been this crotchety? Yes. Spence, you were way cuter when you were a kid. I mean, you're still attractive, but... Oh my god, Allie, this is not the time for that. What? I'm just saying. Spencer sighed. I really don't know what I expected from you two. Excuse me? She pulled at his cheeks, pinching harder. He let out an undignified squawk and tried to pull away. You're being awfully bratty. Wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Allie, please stop flirting. This isn't flirting. Yes, it is, and it's kind of creeping me out. Spencer finally managed to pull away from her. He glared at me, rubbing at his face. Do I get an explanation at all, or are you just going to try to distract me until I forget? When did Spencer turn into you? Enough already. Fine, you want an explanation? Magic is real, the Paranormal Mysteries Club is full of supernatural people, Allie's a witch, Marc's a vampire, Adrian too, and he accidentally almost ate you. Wow, that was your way of handling it delicately? I have a bruise on my face. He doesn't get kid gloves anymore. Well, I knew some of that from your journal anyway, and you're Faye. I could already feel my eyes starting to twitch. Then why were you demanding an explanation? Then again, I knew that before reading your journal. I just didn't have the word for it until yesterday. How? How could you have known that? I didn't know that until last week. Yeah, right, I know that's a lie. This is why we can never talk about things. You keep acting like I'm the one keeping secrets. You're the one who hints at all this stuff, and you never explain. What happened 5 years ago, Spencer? What really happened? You know what happened. If I knew, I wouldn't ask. Okay, chill out. Why don't you two calm down before someone else gets smacked in the face? Oh, right, everybody fucking slapped me, you bitch. Hey, Chico, why don't you take a break and let us chat for a bit? Fine. I started out of the kitchen, but I paused in the door and shot him a glare. But you're going to tell me what you know. I've been agonizing over this whole thing, trying to figure out the answers to a lot of questions. Also, I can help you. If you somehow know something, you're going to tell me. I left them there and stalked to the front door. Spencer was shook about that. The air was cold, crisp. It helped soothe my nerves. I leaned against the front door and rubbed my face with trembling. Why did I not just go upstairs in my room? I'm not down to be out here. Old woman can come and attack me. I'm so glad he's okay. I don't know what I've done if he didn't wake up. I flopped on the front step and leaned my head against the post. Ugh, I shouldn't have lost my temper. Stupid. A morning after not sleeping at all was probably not a good time to try to deal with explaining this to him. But this is where I'm going to stop because we're nearing the end of today's episode. But anyway, I don't know where this is gonna lead off. I'm really scared whenever my girl is outside alone. I'm scared of some boogeyman's coming out and attack me. Really scared about that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Touch it,